by the power of love. So for all that is being desired by hearts today, from that love being felt at depth and the gentle power moving through each person, calling whatever chaos may be about them, just assuring each of us that we are never alone on any part of our journey. So we release this prayer. We let it go, let it be, stay unattached to any specific outcomes. Instead, trusting just one thing, and that is love, that is spirit. For that love and for this time of prayer, we are grateful. So it is. Amen.
Please be seated. You made it. That's that first big step.
It is. As always. So, thank you so much, Reverend Fred and Kelley, as usual. Terry Swope, James Albright, Stacy Storm, Reverend Eileen Stulak, thank you so much. And Reverend Jackie, if you're there. Reverend Eileen's lesson today is appropriating the heart of healing. And we have a few announcements this morning. First, there are several wonderful groups here at the ministry, and a few have upcoming meetings we'd like to share. The first is the next yoga chair class will be this coming Wednesday at 4:30 here at the Plex Pod in the soundstage room. Second, the men's group monthly breakfast meeting will be coming this Saturday, October 1st. They will gather at the Lenexa Public Market at 8:30 a.m. And Yarn Blessings group will be here at the Plex Pod next Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. for their monthly teaching session. If you'd like to learn more about these groups, I'm going to ask their leaders to stand so you know who to connect with after the service. Lona Davis for chair yoga. Jim Crabtree for the men's group. He's up on the ladder with the camera. And Angela Herman for yarn lessons. Show off, Jim. Okay. And our annual Spooktacular Halloween party is going to be on Sunday, October 30th, from 4 to 6:30 p.m. Josie and our youth and family ministry team are asking for your help in these areas. You can participate on the planning committee, help out on the day of the event, or make a financial donation to cover the costs. There are sign-up sheets for the planning committee and for helping at the event, the table in the back of the sanctuary. There's also a donation jar there if you'd like to offer financial support. And we have a new workshop, Express Yourself, that will meet on the first Wednesday of the month, beginning October 5th. This is an opportunity to share and express the creativity that sparks to your heart, that speaks to your heart, such as art, music, poetry, storytelling, or more. The group will meet in the soundstage room back there from 7 to 8:30, and there is a sign-up sheet on the table in the back. And now, Reverend Eileen has a couple of items to share.
Yeah, the first thing I want to share with you today is a new program that's going to premiere at the Theater for Young America down at Union Station. It is called Dolores Huerta, Crusader for Workers. And Ms. Huerta can be described as someone with many, many accomplishments, but to us, our very special connection to her is that she is Reverend Jackie's great aunt. Now, in addition to that wonderful claim to fame, she is a civil rights, workers, and women's advocate. In 1962, she partnered with Cesar Chavez and co-founded what we know today as the United Farm Workers of America. She has served as a community activist and a political organizer for decades. She is 92 and she is still serving in these ways. I was just watching a TEDx talk. Just this past week, I was watching one of her TEDx talks out in California from just about a year and a half ago on anti-racism. So she is still doing this wonderful service. She has a foundation that she put in her own name that is serving to, it's dedicated to developing community organizers. It's dedicated to developing national leaders. In 1998, President Bill Clinton awarded her the Eleanor Roosevelt Award for Human Rights. And in 2012, President Barack Obama awarded her with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And our story of her childhood, her early career, is going to be told in a musical play being staged again at the Theater for Young America with original music by another friend of this community, Mr. Danny Cox. It's going to run, yes, it's going to run from October 11th through the 22nd, and Reverend Jackie has arranged to have a block of seats reserved for us for Saturday, October 15th, and that show is going to be at 2 o'clock. That block of seats gives us a group rate of just $5 per ticket. And so we do need to be able to advise the theater when we get closer to that date coming. So again, back on the infamous table where all the sign-up sheets are, there's one for this program. Please sign up. And as far as the $5 is concerned, it's probably easiest to just pay at the door when you arrive that day. We do need to know that you're going to be there. Okay, so please take advantage of that. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful program and such a testament to Jackie's family. The second thing I wanted to say is next week, Reverend Jackie will be back, and she is going to be kicking off our Fall Faith series for this year. It is The Mastery of Life. We're being supported by the book of the same name by Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. And then it's going to culminate. So we're going to have small groups. Small groups are signing up very quickly. They're all on the table in the cafe area. Please take advantage of that opportunity. We have so many options between in-person here, in people's homes, online. We have a special online congregant group that you don't have to be an online congregant, but one of our online congregants is going to facilitate that group. We also have a group forming for our deaf community. So please take advantage of that. Go deeper into all that we shared on a Sunday morning and have that just be a wonderful addition to your journey through the 7 weeks together. And at the end of it, it's all going to culminate with our annual Fall Faith celebration event and fundraiser. Don Miguel will be joining us that night. It's going to be Friday, November the 18th. So circle that date, especially on your calendar. He will be with us virtually, but it will be live. It will be an interactive conversation with him and presentation from him. We're going to have wonderful food, wonderful drinks. We'll have a chance to support the fundraiser aspect as well. This is our largest fundraiser in our fiscal year. It goes a long way to empowering us, enabling us to be able to offer programs like Fall Faith and so much more. And so I'm excited about it, and I'm going to issue you a friendly challenge. Invite your friends, invite your families, invite your neighbors, invite your co-workers. They don't have to be here. They can join us Sunday online. They can join a group online. They can maybe even possibly tune in, I'm not sure, but maybe even on the event tonight with Don Miguel. It doesn't matter. They can be a part of this. We have 7 small groups, as I said, a variety to choose from, and so I'm looking forward to all of that, the fun, the time of connection, and more that's going to take place. So if you don't have the book, we still have a few copies left. They're also out in the cafe. $15, you can pick up your book and start reading it before next Sunday. Please give yourself the gift that this is for your own personal journeys. Thank you.
Great stuff. Now, let us speak the joint vision statement of the Unity Movement. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. I see you well, I see you whole.
see the love, yes, I see. I see you well. I see you whole. I see you perfect in every way. I see love. Yes, I see. Those words, that entire song that Kelley wrote and offered so beautifully, really pretty much sum up the series that we've been offering for these last several weeks, a series focused on healing in mind, body, spirit. See, to me, those words, they are words of love. When we can look at another and see nothing but absolute perfection in every way, we're seeing them through the lens of unconditional love. We can look in the mirror and see nothing but absolute perfection in every way. We're seeing ourselves through that very same lens of unconditional divine love. And has not this love been the common thread throughout our series? Think about it. 4 weeks ago, Stephanie Barton was here. She opened our series by reminding us, by encouraging us to always remember our divine wholeness, a wholeness that is inherent in us as a result of our having been created by a loving God. And then the next week, Reverend Jackie spoke to the many aspects of work we do in our lives. And she offered that the most important work we do is that which we do in what she called that inner realm. And when we do that inner work, everything we then do in the outer becomes a labor of love. Everything we do, we see it as being the activity of spirit, the activity of love itself being expressed as us. And then in week 3, Reverend Jackie invited Swanhilda Lilly to join in conversation with her. And what we received from Swanhilda was a perspective that told us that not everything needs, not everyone seeks healing, because there is a belief that no healing is necessary. They shared that the deafness in their life, it is cultural, it is present through multiple generations of their family, and it is something that is celebrated. It is something that is embraced and loved as an integral part of who they are. And who they are is not broken in any way, in need of healing in any way. And then last week, Reverend Jackie invited me to join with her to share a little bit about my personal journey and experiences around this thing called healing. And together our message was that of encouraging you to invite, to allow God to be a part of your healing journeys, to hear or to feel that presence of love calling you, nudging you, asking you to allow it to rise up in you during those times when healing is desired. Being open to being shown pathways to healing that perhaps you had not thought of, or perhaps you did think of them, but you didn't think they were possible. And today, as we bring our series to a close, we're going to keep on dancing with the one who brought us. We're going to keep our focus on love, while also expanding our view of it so that we can see the more expansive activity of it as it moves beyond our individual healing experiences. Now, I imagine that as you have been present to all that has been offered to date, you've thought about what this word, what this action of love means. And I would also imagine that there are a lot of very wonderful and unique definitions that have come come up into your minds over these weeks. Well, I came upon a definition of love that I'd like to share with you this morning, and it was offered by Isabel Carter Haywood. If you don't know of her, she is a priest in the Episcopal Church, and she was also a member of what is known as the Philadelphia 11. Back in 1974, she joined with 10 other women whose ordinations eventually paved the way for the recognition of women as priests in the Episcopal Church that occurred 2 years later in 1976. This is some of what she had to say about love. Love is not fundamentally a sweet feeling, not at heart a matter of sentiment, attachment, or being drawn toward. Love is active, effective. It is a matter of making reciprocal and mutually beneficial relations with one's friends and enemies. Love involves commitment. We're not automatic lovers of self, others, the world, or God. Love does not just happen. We're not love machines, puppets on the strings of a deity called love. Love is a choice. Not simply or necessarily a rational choice, but rather a willingness to be present to others without pretense or guile. Love is willingness to participate with others in the healing of a broken world and broken lives. A willingness to participate with others in the healing of a broken world and broken lives. See, those words speak to this participatory nature of activating love's healing power in us that naturally and automatically applies to all areas of our lives, and also a healing that applies not only to our individual lives or hearts, but also to others' lives and also to our world. 30 years ago, when I first stepped onto the pathway that would introduce chronic illness into my life, had someone asked me to allow others into that process, if someone had asked me to speak out loud about my experience, about my feelings, if someone had asked me to let the whole world in on what I was going through, I would have immediately said, count me out. I have no interest in feeling anything that was moving in me at that time, even within the privacy of my own mind, my own emotions, let alone showing them or talking out loud about them to someone else. 30 days ago, when Reverend Jackie invited me to participate with her, asking if I would share some of my story in front of other people, with the very real possibility that anyone in the entire world could have tuned in to hear what I might have to say. It was an immediate, count me in, count me in. So what changed? Well, I learned to make friends with something that I believe, at least for myself, is necessary to experiencing lasting healing of any kind, and that friend of mine is vulnerability. It was a long, winding, lengthy road for me to travel before making a commitment to that friendship. Being vulnerable terrified me, especially in the context of healing, because as I shared a little bit last week, 30 years ago, I saw this as a punishment of God. I saw it as a sign, and not only a sign, but a confirmation of my unworthiness of love. For me, showing my emotions, even allowing my eyes to tear up, was a sign of utter weakness. I wanted no part of bringing all of that out into the light for everyone to see. Today, I now embrace vulnerability. And I love the way that it's defined and offered by author Mark Nepo, someone who's moved through significant health challenges and significant healing experiences. In 2020, he was interviewed for an article in Unity magazine, and the article ended up being titled "The Virtues of Vulnerability." And in it, he offered that the word vulnerable means to hold a wound gracefully, which doesn't mean being stoic. We all know that physical wounds need to be open to air and light. If they're covered too tightly, they will not heal and they will get infected. Vulnerability is the courage to be soft and open enough until the light starts to heal the part of us that is wounded. What I feel that's saying to us is that in order to heal, in order to grow at depth, in order to expand and enhance and transform our lives, we have to be who we are. The real, authentic, unapologetically true us. And that means holding nothing back. That means not hiding or trying to cover up those less attractive parts of us, at least those that we would say are so. It includes everything about us. And Eva was asked in his interview if he thought that we progress and grow through various layers of vulnerability each time we move through it, or do we just become more comfortable with it over time? And he felt it was pretty much that same threshold that we cross over each time we are vulnerable. And I think that's great news, because gosh, if I can do it once, I can do it again without having to learn anything new, right? Just do it again in the exact same way. And here's the gift we receive every time we do it again. Mark said, as we grow, the lessons change, the insights deepen, and how we're transformed changes. And we can see vulnerability as the strength it can be, even when we may be feeling the weakest we've ever felt. It invites forth those energies of wholeness that have been present throughout this series. That wholeness, again, made of Spirit's love in us. And it also serves to draw to us everything that we will need to continue moving forward on our healing journeys. People will show up, circumstances will appear, experiences will arise, each and every one of them, and all that they contain. They do so to bless us, to let us know that we're not alone, and to let us know that we are on the absolutely right path for us. Now, another way that love, as it's offered by Reverend Haywood, can show up in our healing through our participation with others is one that I came upon in one of Unity's booklets that they publish throughout the year, and whose title I borrowed from my lesson title today, The Heart of Healing. And in it, my friend and colleague, Reverend Kelley Hunt, wrote an article focused on the healing touch. Now, when I was young, a little girl, and I would come down with a cold or the flu or just wasn't feeling good. In my young mind, the doctors, my nurses, they were my healers, right? It was their healing touch that made me feel better. When I was much older and experiencing illness in my pre-vulnerable days, my mind told me that I was the only one who was going to deal with this illness. So today it's both and. Because yes, I still do have to do my part when it comes to my healing experiences. And today I'm just so open to all that a healing touch can mean. I didn't see Reverend Kelley's article until February of 2021. And I really wish I would have seen it a month earlier. Because in early January of 2021, I found myself being taken to the emergency room with a very irregular, high, rapid heartbeat. And let me say right here and now, what they found was that my heart is perfect. It's functioning just as it should be. But I sat with uncertainty about that for about 36 hours. I sat at home because I was sitting in the hospital, lying in the hospital, where people all around me were dying daily, hourly from COVID-19 and other illnesses or injuries. And they were dying alone. I was in a hospital where no one could visit me, sit with me, just be with me. I was in a hospital that was so eerily silent. And I felt just So every emotion I could think of feeling, there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of anxiety, there was a lot of loneliness. There were a lot of thoughts of my own mortality and possible death. I didn't know what was going on, that would not let me rest. By the time I was released, 36 hours later, to just go home, I was what we sometimes refer to as a hot mess. I mean, I was an emotional wreck. I was physically exhausted. Some of life's most challenging questions, and you know the ones I'm talking about, were just swirling in my mind. And even when I was out and at home, I felt so isolated and still so very alone. I had a lot of work to do in order to heal from that experience. But it was soon February, and enter Kelley's article. And after acknowledging the individual work that is ours to do when it comes to healing in our lives, she offered, however, I believe healing must include recognizing that my healing is dependent on you. If I believe in the interconnectedness of our life, my healing does not happen alone. It happens through our belonging, through our opening ourselves to each other. And we don't even need to be in the same place for that healing touch of another to have its impact on us. If COVID-19 taught us anything, if it taught me anything, especially as a minister, it is the power of connection that can still be experienced, still be created, even when we can't physically be together. And now I know that knowing that can be a literal mercy. See, another's healing touch can be felt just when you reach out to someone and they listen. Just when they listen to what we have to say. When they truly hear or receive what we say, then offer in return some empathy, some compassion, or even a very masked transport to the ER. We can be touched by others during our difficult times, through cards that come to us through the mail, or through encouraging texts or phone calls from anywhere on this planet, any time of day or night. A healing touch can come to us through words offered by a song. You see, our vulnerability empowers us to reach out. I found that its power has been stronger than any circumstance or personal resistance I have tried to muster against it at times. And now at times I don't question it anymore. And I found out why I don't question being vulnerable as much as I used to when I got to the part in Kelley's article, where she wrote about those times when we're drawn to allow others into our personal and very personal healing experiences and processing. She compared it to following an enticing aroma until we find out where it's originating. She said, we instinctively move closer in order to be immersed in it, to be touched. Because somewhere inside, we know that touch is really a symbol for our closeness to each other and our closeness to the divine. Closeness to each other, closer to the divine, to love. So now this brings us to the world. Reverend Haywood's perspective that our healing is also a healing that we are called to allow to expand into the world at large. And for this one, I turned to the music of Karen Drucker. She was also a featured writer in the Unity booklet. Because I believe it brings all that's been shared today, all that has been shared throughout this series into a full, unbroken circle of divine love. You see, to me, to love, is to be vulnerable. When I think of the purest love, I like to go back to our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, and in his writings, he spoke of love as being that pure essence of spirit that is present within not only me, not only you, is present within everyone, and that it binds together the whole human family, this worldwide human family. So the spiritual truth of oneness allows that love to guide us on our healing journeys and to reach out to others to participate along with us, to lovingly touch us in the process. It's as if the vulnerability and the love show up together to show us that whether we are being loved or whether we are receiving love from another, we are really just mirror images of each other. We are mirror images for each other. We truly see each other. Because Spirit's love is just that. It's Spirit's love. There's nothing personal about it. There's nothing individualized about it. It doesn't have limitations. It doesn't have caveats and requirements. It just is. And because it just is, it blesses without price. And when we can see that, when we can feel that, we have come full circle in knowing that each of us is a blessing to this world, a healing, loving blessing to this world. Blessing to the World was the title Karen Tucker gave to a song that she wrote as she was preparing to be guest vocalist at a church one week. And she often writes songs specifically for the service that she's going to be a part of. And she had seen that Blessing to the World was the title of the minister's sermon that day. So she sat down at her piano and she started to play around with different words or phrases as she was hearing the melody that she had going on in her head. And this is the first verse that she wrote. You are the heart. You are the hands. You are the voice of Spirit on earth. And who you are and all that you do is a blessing to the world. And then she changed it up. She started trying we instead of you. And we are the heart. We are the hands. We are the voice, and so on. It sounded really good. Then she moved into using I instead of we. And she burst into tears as she heard her own voice. She wrote, that line felt so powerful and I felt so vulnerable saying it. How could I stand in front of people and say, I am a blessing to the world? And a moment later she said, she heard that voice in her head tell her, that's exactly why you need to say it. For her, she said that claiming to be a blessing in the world, she said, I am giving permission to myself and I hope to others to allow my light, my gifts, my love to shine forth. When each of us does that, we create a community and a world that is truly blessed. And I'll add to that, truly healed. The healing power of love. The very heart of healing. It gets activated when love sees and recognizes itself. The ending paragraphs in the 17th chapter of John's Gospel, they are a prayer that Jesus prayed after he spent his last time with the disciples on this earth. And this was a prayer that was from him to God. He was no longer talking to the disciples. Part of his prayer reads, I in them, and you in me, that they may become completely one, so that the world may know that you have sent me and loved them even as you have loved me. I have made your name known to them, so that the love with which you have loved me may be in them, and I in them. What if you were able to tap into this healing love in the same ways that Jesus did? What would you see? What would you say to yourself, to another, to this world? You see the light is there rise, tries to do so with eyes that are seeing through the lens of spiritual wholeness, seeing through the eyes of love. So it's from that place that we can each affirm this morning that I am an open channel through which the healing, prospering currents of God, God's life, power, and joy are now flowing. Feel into those words. There's such positivity resonating within them. To be open, to be healing, prospering, to embrace this gift that is life, to embrace its power and joy, and to feel all of that flowing through each one of us. Because right here, in this moment, in any moment, the Spirit is moving in you and me in wondrous ways. Ways in which our hearts have absolutely desired, and ways in which we could not begin to imagine. This is a sacred current of life. It's always present, it's always available. All we need to do is open our hearts, our minds, to spirit, to love. So we make that choice to do so right now, in this holy moment, on these holy grounds, wherever you may be. Let us give ourselves a gift of silence, to turn within and simply rest in the divine and healing love of God. This powerful, flowing life of God moving through us. It's greater than anything else in this life. So as we go forward, let's remember this truth. Let's do so in times of joy and laughter, and let's do it as well in times of challenge. Let's remain open channels, ones through which the healing, prospering currents of God's life, power, and joy are now flowing and always will. And for that, and for so much more, we say thank you, God, for the depths of our hearts. And so it is. Amen.
See you when I see you all I see. I see your heart, I see your soul, I see your light, I see shining through, I see love, I see you, yes, I see you. you.
Thank you for that song, Kelley. So this is the time in our service where we want to see all that is possible in this ministry. What we can see right here and now, and what we can see in our mind's eye when again allow God to paint the picture with us. And so if you'd like to take your offering in your hands, perhaps you've already given or plan to give online, just hold that lot of prosperity, abundance in your hearts, and join with me as we together bless our offering by speaking words of our offertory prayer together. Divine love, through thee, bless us and multiply us, all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am joyful and grateful.
Can you imagine joy? Can you imagine peace? Can you imagine love? Yes, I can. Oh, yes, I can. Can you imagine joy, joy, joy? Can you imagine peace? Can you imagine love? Yes, I can. Oh, yes, I can. One love, one heart, oh, let's get together. Be alright. Everybody say one love, one heart, oh, let's get together and be alright. Can you imagine joy right here, right now? Can you imagine peace? Oh, this morning now. Can you imagine love? Well, yes I can. Oh, yes I can. I will sing it again. Imagine joy. Oh, can you imagine peace? Can you imagine love? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Here we go. One love, one heart, oh, let's get together and be alright. Everybody sing one love, one love, one heart, oh, let's get together and be alright. Let's do it one more time. Come on. One love, one heart, oh, let's get together and be alright. One love, one love. One heart, oh, let's get together and be alright. Oh, let's get together and be alright. Let's be alright.
All month, we have been acknowledging our Sunday Encounters volunteer team. They set the standard for stewardship and handling of their financial gifts. Please join me one more time to express our gratitude and appreciation for all who serve on this team. Before we close, a few quick notes. All are welcome to join for refreshments and a time of connection in the cafe, where you can also purchase your book for the fall series, and you can purchase gift cards for your shopping needs at the Raise Right table, just outside the sanctuary, leading to the cafe.
And don't forget to sign up for Spectacular and other things on the back table. Please join with me now in speaking our mission statement together. Unity Church of Overlook Park transforms lives and empowers people to make a difference in the world. And join us next week as Reverend Jack returns to kick off the fabulous All Faith series. Her lesson is entitled The Art of Life, Power Journey. Now, let's welcome our children.
With kinetic sand, so if you want anything and everything, we got it. So, yeah, so we just took time, just let ourselves be creative and have fun today. As you guys have heard a couple times throughout the service, Spectacular is coming, and if you're willing and able, we'd love for you to sign up to volunteer or be on the committee. Different things like that. Our slogan for this year is a party for every zombie. So zombies are kind of our new theme coming up for this one. So yeah, we're really excited. If you guys will, please stand and join us for our closing song.
I see joy, I see peace, I see goodness surrounding me. I see love in every breath I breathe. I see God in everything. I see happiness, I see freedom. I see the beauty that lives in me. I see perfection in what life brings. I see God in everything. I feel joy, I feel peace, I feel goodness surrounding me. I feel love in every breath I breathe. I feel God in everything. I feel happiness, I feel freedom. I feel the beauty that lives in me. I feel perfection in what life brings. I feel God in everything. I choose joy, I choose peace, I choose goodness surrounding me. I choose love in every breath I breathe. I choose God in everything. I choose happiness, I choose freedom. I choose the beauty that lives in me. I choose perfection in what life brings. I choose God in everything. I know joy, I know peace, I know goodness surrounding me. I know love's in every breath I breathe. I know God's in everything. I know happiness, I know freedom. I know the beauty that lives in me. I know perfection in what life brings. I know God's in everything. I know God's in everything.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.